Hey everybody. This is Awesome Fangirl, and I know this microphone looks weird, but I tried it without the microphone before and it sounded very, very loud. So I figured the microphone would help me not um, talk too loudly. That way your ears won't hurt, because that does tend to happen. So, I'm borrowing my dad's microphone. But anyway, let's get started. So last week, a lot of you guys saw that I had posted a video. If you did watch it, thank you. And it kind of talked about what I'm going to be doing with this channel. Um, I will post a link to that in the below in the comments. That way you guys can look to see. Otherwise, let's just go right in. This is going to be my rating system, or the system I will be using to review games. So let's get started. Gameplay is going to be 50 points, and that's going to be looking at the weapon system, enemy challenge, character leveling, and game mechanics. So with the weapon system, it's going to be looking at, does it work well? Is it very easy to use? Does it make sense? And is it the weapon leveling easy to achieve, or is it too hard to achieve? Um, and the storage system, is the storage system something that um, is the storage system uh, something that I can use very well, or is it something that we should try to avoid? Enemy challenge. And so with the enemy challenge, what I'm looking for in this one is, are the enemies too easy or too hard for the character level? Do the enemies glitch a lot? Do they stand still when I'm fighting them, or is it hard to beat them because of how the computer is, or how the software is? Or are they too predictable? Um, are the enemies too easy to fight, or they're not predictable enough? So there's that. Character leveling. And what I'm looking for in character leveling is going to be tied into the weapon system as well. But is it too easy or too complicated to level up? If it's a team-based leveling, how well does the main playable character work with the other team members? And with that as well, I will be talking about which characters will be best to take on as team members and which characters to avoid. And is the character leveling important? Is it something that should you really focus on in the game, or is it something that it's not that big of a deal? Game mechanics. So with the game mechanics, what I'm looking for is, are the rules easy to understand or follow? Is the style original, or is the style typical of the game? If it's typical, is it done well, or does it have a certain twist to it that I never thought of before? Or if it's original, is it well developed? Um, or is it something that I hope that they could improve on? Because I always like originality in video games. Other things that I'm going to consider are along with games, and which is going to be a separate 50 points. So graphics is going to be a big thing that I'm going to be looking at. That's going to be around like 10 points on the scale. And so graphics is going to be, are they smooth in transitions? Is it, and what I mean by transition is, are the cinematics, does it switch from cinematics to gameplay well? Is there a lot of glitches? Do I have to restart my computer or the console a lot? Is it irritating, or are the glitches kind of funny to find? Depending. And then, does it represent the game well? So, for example, if the game is going for more realism, does the game um, have a lot of realistic attributes to the graphics, or is it not realistic enough? Or if it's trying to go towards more of a heightened sense of reality, does it do that as well as well? As well. Cannot talk today. Plot. What I'm looking for in plot is it consistent throughout the game or games if it's a series? Is it original? Or what kind of plot archetype are they using? And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term archetype, archetype is a term used in when it's a plot line or a basically an element of a story that is used a lot. And so, for example, a plot line that is used in a lot of video games is the hero's journey. And so, a game I think that can best represent the hero's journey would be Mass Effect. Um, so I do suggest you guys play Mass Effect, though that game is awesome. Um, if it is original, is the story engaging? Or if it's an archetype, what did they do well? Or what kind of interesting spin did they put on it? Characters. And so what I'm looking for characters is, are they original or are they archetype? Are they likable characters? And do they keep with the plot well or do they seem out of place? And so going back up to likable, what I mean by likable characters is like um, not like if they're good people or not, but like, is it a character that I hope to see more in the games, or is it a character that I like in general? Like, is the villain really good? Like, is it that sort of thing? And when I mean by do they keep with the plot or do they seem out of place? Generally, I'm kind of looking at in certain characters that is it really necessary to have that character in it or not? Some games, as many of you guys will know, sometimes it just seems a little out of place to have, for example, in Batman Arkham Origins, for those who played it, I always thought it was kind of weird to have so many, like they named all these assassins that were coming after Batman, and then you only like go against a certain amount. And in my head, I'm kind of thinking, well, why even have those? Why even mention the other characters if I'm not going to be going against those assassins? Um, so yeah, and that game, I wasn't a big fan of that game anyway. But you gotta get the gist of what I'm saying. And then the overall message. An overall message isn't going to be too important, but basically it's going to be kind of sort of like my wrap up of um, what I think about the game. And so, is the message good? Does it fit the plot? And is the message universal, or do I think it's different for each person? And with games, it tends to be, I always find that the message tends to be different for each person most of the time, depending on the game. But I mean, in general, though, I always think video games tend to have a decent message to most of them. And then the next one is going to be side missions. Now, with side missions, what I'm looking for is basically two main things: is does it complement the game well? In a sense, are they fun to do? Is it not too tedious? And are they worth playing? I think all of you guys know from Mass Effect 2 with the planet probing mini game. It seemed unnecessary, but you had to do it. Um, but yeah, that one was tedious. But I think you guys can see what I'm going with when it comes to side missions. If you have any like suggestions of what else I should think about when it comes to side missions, feel free to comment. And then time to introduce the game. So since I mentioned Batman earlier, I am going to be starting with Batman Arkham Knight with this. And so here's what kind of I know so far. I generally kind of like to keep myself in the dark about my with various video games because I like to, open the I like to know what happens with the game right when I play it. As much as I like to have little spoilers that happen, I generally just kind of find key things to think about and then try not to listen to anymore because I don't want to hear any unnecessary spoilers, especially in this day and age of the internet. You don't want to hear anything to slip up that could potentially ruin um, an experience in the game. But all of you guys are familiar with Batman Arkham Asylum. Everyone, of course, loves, and I especially love, Batman Arkham City. And those of you who played Arkham Origins like I did, I'm sorry. Oh god, that game sucked. I really didn't like it. I ended up actually trading that in because it had really no replay value to it. Um, but in a sense, here's what I know. We get to drive the Batmobile, which I'm super excited about because I was hoping we'd be able to play to drive the Batmobile in Arkham City, and at least Arkham Origins, but that never really happened. So now I'm kind of excited. Scarecrow looks like he's going to be like the main big bad. He's of course is going to be accompanied with Harley Quinn and Penguin and Two Face and a couple others as well in the Batman series. But he looks like to be going to be the big bad, and I'm actually really excited because he is one of my favorite Batman villains. And then Arkham Knight is a villain specifically created for the game. That one I'm kind of unsure of. Rocksteady has been doing really well with the series, except for Origins, but it has been doing very well with the series in general. So I'm not too um, wary of it, but at the same time, I just don't want to get my hopes up and then find that the villain is not that good. So hopefully the villain will be fine, and I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. And then all I know about the setting is that this is a takes a year after Joker's death. It's a year after his death, and from what I know, it's like a lot of the big bads are using this as a way to take advantage of the moment to try to take over Gotham, and Batman has to stop it, of course. And of course, Scarecrow has a big plan, and so I'm actually very excited for this game. I pre-ordered it since last year, so I'm hopefully you guys are just as excited as I am about the game. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments or anything that could be helpful, especially when it comes to anything I should else should consider when ranking a game or rating a game, please leave it in the comments below. Other than that, keep what you're doing, fans. See you later. Bye.